Hello, everyone. This is Bukeka. You know me, I go by Bukeka Style, and we are excited for another episode of On Stage. And today we have two extraordinary creatives joining us right out of the Atlanta, Georgia market, the ATL. So we're so excited to have these amazing people. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to experience. They are the dynamic collaborators of Architect Studios, a rising creative powerhouse shaping the future of film, branding, storytelling, and world building. Let me pause. They are the dynamic collaborators of Architect Studios, a rising creative powerhouse shaping the future of film, branding, storytelling, and world building. So first we have Terrell Ramus Ankh Luckett. Now I'm going to pause for a second. Tell me how to pronounce your last name. Editing is great. Say again. Just
You're on mute.
Yeah, you could take the Terrell Luckett off and just put Ramus Hunk.
Ramus Ankh. Okay. All right. You can mute again. Thank you. All right. All right. So first we have Ramus Ankh. He is a film director, music video producer, world builder, branding visionary, graphic artist, storyteller, and songwriter. He is the creative force behind immersive worlds for brands, artists, labels, corporations, authors, and youth. And joining him is Pamela McKinney, executive operations lead, new business strategist, go to market brand architect, and executive producer of Willa, the musical. She is also a longtime consultant for startup CEOs and early stage founders with a deep passion for empowering underserved communities. So come onto the stage, please, Ramus and Pamela.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really are excited to know all about the wonderful things that you're doing in Atlanta and around the world. So first, how are you both doing today? Welcome to the show. We're really honored to have you.
Fantastic.
Yes, we're doing great, and I'm just honored to be here on the show. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ramus. So now let's start with you. Uh, as a child, did you find yourself thinking about the world differently from other children? Like, were you already imagining worlds and characters or stories that hinted of that creative visionary you would later become?
Um, Actually, no. Not at all. Actually, I just thought I was the typical home child, you know what I'm saying, playing with toys like the average. But when I got away from it and I started working on my first project, I seen how, playing with toys and drawing and creating little comic books and doing the things that I've done when I was a child. It amplified to levels to where I'm able to literally see that I was actually a director as a child. I was directing shows. I was directing comics and where which direction it should have took at that time. And so I was building worlds back then, not realizing that it was going to build this world today.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about your background and the journey that led you to where you are today as a film director and a master creative of worlds.
Um, wow, interesting. Well, I'm an artist overall. I do illustrations, cartooning, and etc. And I've been doing that for a long time since I was a child. and I wound up doing muraling. So growing up, yeah, I started painting murals and doing things like that. And I went to Hollywood doing murals for different companies and clubs and different, events and stuff. And it opened more doors to the point where, people in Atlanta started calling me back from Hollywood. It was like, yo, we need you to come back and do some other work. And um, it just grew. And but one day I actually woke up realizing that I don't want to be a muralist no more. I don't want to paint no more. I don't want to pick up that brush no more because I seen that the world was changing and it was going more into the digital world. So I said, let me put that down, but first let me make the money first and then put it down, and then and I wound up doing very well. I made about 10,000. With that, I just decided to invest in myself and say, you know what, let me go ahead and start building up my world the way I see fit. And I got into the digital. I went into music first. I went into graphic designing because after building the music world, I was like, well, I have an artist here, but how am I going to brand her? You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn graphics and learn photography and I did all this on my own back in 2000. And from that, it just started growing. I realized that my belt was getting thicker and thicker. I'm a painter, I'm an illustrator, I'm a photographer because I had to take photo shoots and stuff like that. I'm a graphic designer. I knew choreographing. I knew how to do music. I knew how to write. I knew so all of these things was just building up. I'm learning myself more and more, and it started to amplify to the point where when I went to Africa, I did my major first project with an artist by the name of EL, and he called me one day. He was like, "Yo, I heard so much about you." My name was just buzzing at the time, so he heard so much about me. He was like, "Yo, can you do my music video?" I said, "Sure." So I wound up coming up with the concept, and I wound up directing the video for him and putting things together, and it became video of the year at that time. Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah. I think that was in
fascinating.
2016. At that time, it became Video of the Year. It won awards and everything. And then I came back and I realized what I had to offer to Atlanta.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yes.
And I love that you took that all of your talents to Africa because there is such an important work there to be done with all the creative
Yes.
forces there. That is their economy. That is their growing economy. And so
You,
tapping into
you
that and bringing that to life, that's amazing. That's
what's
wonderful.
what's really interesting is that when I went to Africa, nobody knew about airbrushing. And I brought the airbrush kits. I brought everything over. So yes, I was the first to actually gave Ghana airbrushing, and people don't know that. And nobody in Ghana knew what airbrushing was. They actually called me the the naked body man painter because I was painting, but I was doing body painting on a lot of
Right.
beautiful women for events, big events for Smirnoff and etc. And but I had a name, people knew who I was. I was the buzz of the town, and the imagery. Once you go onto the website, you'll see it will blow you. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Been there. Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
amazing.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah, actually
Wow.
that video that I was talking about, EL, that was the number one first video they ever did with body painting on it. They never done a video, any music video with body painting. I was the first.
That's incredible. That's
Yes.
incredible. And congratulations
Thank
for
you.
that,
Thank you.
for all that and more. And so there is more congratulations
Okay.
to offer here. Congratulations on moving into the Etherian 9 epic fantasy movie, closer to
Thank you.
reality. Yes, for those who may be hearing about it for the first time, can you share a little bit about the film and what makes it such a groundbreaking project?
Um, wow, interesting. Again, it started back in Africa. I was in Ghana, and after Black Panther came out, I realized that, well, even before Black Panther came out, I was working on my own animation called the Adventures of Nubu. And I was trying to figure out a way to actually bridge the gap with Africa and Black Americans and try to bridge our gap. And I said, you know what? First, let's start with the children, the youth. Let's build that up. So I came up with the whole Nubu concept and etc. But then I was like, you know what? As I was pushing it for years out there with MTN, which is a telephone company out in Ghana, I was pushing it with Vodafone, which is another telephone. I was trying to get it in the door. I realized they wasn't ready for it. So I said, let me sit back and do something that they may be ready for. Maybe they want something more serious. So I wrote a story called The Untold Story of Etherian 9. And in doing that, the elements and all the flavors and all the worlds that I've created and put together in it, it only came from the things I grew up off of. Transformers, Thundercats, Never Ending Story, the book, the movie Never Ending Story, Maleficent, and many other, Black Panther when that came out. So I incorporated all of the things that I love in life. And I said, now let's create a story of all the things I love and that people are used to or understand. And then that's how we bridge the gap is going back into the emotional side of things. Once we tap back into what we loved in life, then once you see this movie, you can relate to it better. You'll be like, I get that. I remember that. Oh, I remember how this, what I'm saying? So you start feeling. So I created a whole entire new world, what I'm saying? And it's almost like the next Star Wars movie, because incorporating this world, I didn't just incorporate imagery in a book or imagery in this world. I'm creating imagery on the outside of this world as well. So we're grabbing everything from all different dimensions and realms in this movie. Yeah. But the story is based pretty much on two kids reading a magical book, and they get engulfed into a whole new world where you have inhumanoid creatures, you have fairies, black fairies, you have everybody in the story is totally African, everybody. And that's what I'm tapping into our people to do our story and give the truth, even though it's fantasy, even though we call it myths and stuff like that. I have a way of calling it factology, you know what I'm saying? Because we're dealing with the facts within the myth, and we're bringing a whole new level of a whole new level of changing the game into a story where people can relate to. That's what we're doing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I want to come back. I'm going to bring up Pamela, and I want to come back to that subject as well, as far
Okay.
as bridging the worlds of Black American and African, and
Yeah.
why that's so important. But before we do that, I definitely want to bring up our other amazing guest, Pamela. You are a go-to-market brand strategist with a strong focus on underserved communities, and you've been consulting CEOs and founders for years. So tell us more about your background and what drives your work.
Thank you so much again for the opportunity to speak with you on stage, Fave Unite TV. Excited to be here, and along with my partner here, Ramus. I'm going to just step back one moment, because I don't think in Ramus's explanation that he explained the title, Etherian 9. So if I could just have him do that, and then I would feel better moving on. So
That sounds great. Tell us about Etherian
Okay,
9.
so the name Etherian, right? Etherian comes from the word ether. Ether is the fire people, the gas, light, the lit people that the ether burns within us to keep us heated and keep us moving in life. When you blow on your hand, you feel heat, and you're trying to figure out where the heat coming from. Well, it's the fire that burns in all of us. It's the light that comes that dwells in all of us, and so therefore that's where you get the word ether from. And then you have the 9, which represents noon, which represents nature, which represents all of the elements that keeps us alive on this planet. Because as you look at the number 9, you see that it ripples it keeps spiraling. You follow? So as it ripples out, it starts to create outwardly. And that's who we are. We are those beings that represent the 9. Every child that comes into this world comes into a fetus position of a 9. Our ear, 9. Everything that we have in life, and look around, if you study, you see a 9 around you all the time. So that is our code. Even the creator knows that, because his number is 9 to the 9 power of 9, which is the supreme of all numbers. And of course, the devil, or what you may call, he changed the 9s into the 6s. He reversed everything on the planet. So the thing.
Thank you for watching On Stage on Fave Unite TV. If you're new to Fave Unite TV and you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a comment below, give us a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. If you'd like to see more content from Fave Unite TV, go ahead and subscribe. We're here for Black stories and Black storytellers. We're showcasing the culture on Fave Unite TV.